All thanks and praises due to the basis foundation. God is most great. None has the right to be worshipped but you. Hello everyone, it's Stepdogg the Hip Hop Prophet, and I'm here with the next video, excuse me, in the YouTube series. And the name of this video is The Book of Revelation Revealed, Part 21, The Angel and the Little Scroll. And I'm going to read that section to you now. Then I saw another mighty angel coming down from heaven. He was robed in a cloud, with a rainbow above his head. His face was like the sun, and his legs were like fiery pillars. He was holding a little scroll, which lay open in his hand. He planted his right foot on the sea, and his left foot on the land. And he gave a loud shout like the roar of a lion. When he shouted, the voices of the seven thunders spoke. And when the seven thunders spoke, I was about to write, but I heard a voice from heaven say, "Seal up what the seven thunders have said, and do not write it down." Then the angel I had seen standing on the sea and on the land raised his right hand to heaven, and he swore by him who lives forever and ever, who created the heavens and all that is in them, and the earth and all that is in it, and the sea and all that is in it, and said, "There will be no more delay. But in the days when the seventh angel is about to sound his trumpet, the mystery of God will be accomplished, just as he announced to his servants the prophets." Then the voice that I heard from heaven spoke to me once more. "Go take the scroll that lies open in the hand of the angel who is standing on the sea and on the land." So I went to the angel and asked him to give me the little scroll. He said to me, "Take it and eat it. It will turn your stomach sour, but in your mouth it will be as sweet as honey." I ate it. It tasted as sweet as honey in my mouth, but when I had eaten it, my stomach turned sour. Then I was told, "You must prophesy again about many nations, many peoples, nations, languages, and kings." Okay. The angel and the little scroll. This is about me. So let me start explaining it. Okay. I saw a mighty angel come down from heaven. He was robed with a cloud. Basically, blah, blah, blah. He's just describing what he saw as far as the angel goes. He was holding a little scroll which lay open in his hand. That little scroll is the story of my life. Second Christ. It's either that or the scroll of my firstborn son, but I believe it's my scroll because, I understand, so let me just keep explaining it. But it's the scroll about my life. The only reason I say it could possibly be my firstborn son is because it's real small, but in comparison to the 1,000-year scroll, of course my scroll is going to be tiny. But anyway. Okay. So that was the scroll. He planted his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land. And he gave a loud shout like a roar. Okay, so that's just basically John describing what the angel did. Okay, when he shouted, the voices of the seven thunders spoke. That's the voice of God. That's just another description of the voice of God. And the voice of God said, okay, so the voice of God spoke. And, John was about to write what the voice of God was saying. But then he heard a voice from heaven say, "Seal up what the seven thunders have said and do not write it down." Now, this is what I have a serious question with God about. Because when I get into the next section, I'm going to explain things. Did the Jews alter this right here? Did God explain things to John, or did God make sure that someone in heaven told John, don't write that down? Because if the Jews decided, well, don't write that stuff down in there, so we'll just put that God said to seal it up. If the Jews did that, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out from God when I receive the rod. Because I have issues with God over this. Because this is about my life, and basically information is being withheld from me. And if I find out that the Jews did this, they're going to get it. I mean, God's going to give it to them anyway, but yeah, they're going to get some extra stuff from me. Well, they already did, you know what I mean? I gave God the idea that if, they don't want to castrate themselves, just make their scrotums explode. So that's another thing that's going to happen to the Jewish man. But if they altered this right here, oh yeah, I got a serious problem with it. And you're going to find out now. So basically, John was about to write, and he heard a voice say, seal up what the seven thunders have said, and do not write it down. So I'm going to find out about that. But nonetheless, let's continue. Then the angel I had seen standing on the sea in the land raised his right hand to heaven, and he swore by him who lives forever and ever, and who created the heavens and the earth and all that is in them, and the land and the sea and all that is in them, and said there will be no more delay. Now basically, like I said, these visions aren't chronological, but basically all the visions he received about the trumpets, they occurred right at the, they occur, basically his visions started with the hour of judgment. Well, basically, there will be no more delay is basically like, yeah, this is the hour of judgment now. You know what I mean? It's time for the hour of judgment. But in the days when the seventh angel is about to sound his seventh trumpet, the mystery of God will be accomplished, just as he announced to his servants, the prophets. So basically the angel says that as well, because I explained the 6 trumpets, haven't gotten to the 7th trumpet yet, because that's at the end of the 42 months. So basically, by the end of the 42 months, everybody is going to be well aware that I speak the truth about this book of Revelation. What I'm discussing right now is going to go down, and it's a wrap. So all the mysteries that I discuss in this book of Revelation are going to be known to everybody by the end of the 42 months. And that's basically what the angel is saying there. Then the voice that I heard from heaven spoke to me once more. And the voice said, go take the scroll that lies in the hand of the angel who is standing on the sea and land. So basically the same voice that told him not to write down what God was saying to John is the same voice that told him to go over and take the scroll, because basically God was basically saying everything that was on that scroll. Okay, so I went to the angel and asked him to give me the little scroll. He said to me, take it and eat it. It will turn your stomach sour, but in your mouth it will be as sweet as honey. So I took the little scroll from the angel's hand and ate it. It tasted as sweet as honey in my mouth, but when I had eaten it, my stomach turned sour. Then I was told, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings. Okay, so this is what this says right here. Because I know certain details about my life now that I didn't know before. First of all, I know about my firstborn son. I'm going to explain him in the next in a section coming over where I discuss my mother. But basically, my firstborn son, once my mother dies, like I've said in prior videos, once my mother dies, like my mother sold her soul to the devil when she was 16, so she's under complete demonic possession. You know, the devil possesses her 100%. Basically, once my mother dies, the devil then gets to have my son. That's the deal that my mother made with the devil to get what she wants. Basically, you know, if you want the devil to grant your wish, well, then you have to promise the devil the first son of your firstborn son. Or I should say the first grandson of your firstborn son, coming from your firstborn son. So that's a bitter pill. But there's not only that. See, when I get hit on the head, that is going to open up the third eye. Now, I haven't explained the third eye at all. But, and it's mentioned in the Quran, and it might be mentioned in the Bible, but it's obviously not mentioned here. And basically what the third eye is the third eye has two purposes. The first purpose of the third eye is the third eye acts as radar for marks. Because God wants me, when I'm around people with marks, to kill them. You know what I mean? The rod is the physical representation of God. And God just gave them a mark because God wants them dead. So when I'm around marks, I already know what it feels like. It's going to be like this popping, bouncing off of my head that is going to be so irritating. But I'm going to know that that means there's marks around. And that means that God wants me to find them marks and kill them. The second purpose of it is it opens up me to receiving visions while I'm awake or whatever. And basically what God does is reaches inside the third eye and twists my brain. And I have visions because basically it disconnects me from myself, and I'm able to then go to wherever God wants me to see things, and I'm going to see them things. The more powerful the vision, the more painful the pinching of my brain. Now, I mean, that's one of the consequences of this hour of judgment. I mean, you know, basically after the hour of judgment and after I receive the scar, there's going to be ways to alleviate the pain, but my head is pretty much consistently going to be in pain for the rest of my life. Not only that, but then I find out I'm going to have to kill my firstborn son because my mother gave his soul to the devil in order to get what she wants or whatever she did. You know what I mean? So, I mean, when I first started writing the Book of Life, I mean, I knew I was the second Christ, but I thought that was my main purpose. I need to write this stuff for God. I need to help God fulfill God's will in this world. I didn't know about this other stuff. I didn't know I was going to have to make up for all the mistakes of all of the other prophets. I didn't know that, you know, I did know about, you know, I could only have sex with the glowing women, but I didn't know that the rod was with me. And, you know, when the rod glows, you know, that's an indicator of it. You know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know about that it's like, boy, you know. Now, don't get me wrong. I still agreed to do it because it's the will of God. And, I mean, you know, if God chose me to do it, I mean, I'm going to do it. But it's like, boy, you really turned this whole thing into a bitter pill on me. And that's the whole point. Like, at first, I thought, well, this is going to be sweet because, you know, I have no problem sitting there and writing for the Lord. But then when I found out about all this other stuff, I was like, wow, I'm going to get done like this? Wow. None of the prophets got done harder than this, you know? In fact, I think it's a little unfair and ridiculous. But there's nothing I could do about it, and I need to accept it. Now, I have accepted it, but, you know, it is a very bitter pill. And then it says, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, and languages. Well, I'm doing that right now. I'm prophesying right now. And I will continue to prophesy after the hour of judgment about different things. Because I already know these prophecies. Sure, I could still explain them, but, you know, they're basically completed. But I will receive other prophecies and visions, and I will need to prophesy further. This is the section, the angel and the little scroll. All thanks and praises due to the Basis Foundation. God is most great. None has the right to be worshipped but you.